So I was watching a YouTube video and the presenters were talking about the importance of attitude. To have a great attitude, when you have one, the skill set, it doesn't really matter. And that follows. And everything goes well with that right attitude. Well, when you have a wrong attitude, and no matter how much skill set you have, everything is going to go wrong or something like that. And that reminded me of Earl Nightingale, who started the personal development industry. So he's known as the strangest secret. And he talks about the magic word being the attitude. So in this video, I want to dissect what attitude is and how can we begin increasing the awareness around our own attitude in different segments of life. So what is attitude? And this is something that actually Bob Proctor said. One way of looking at attitude is that when you ask what attitude is to 10 people will give you 10 different answers. So it's sort of like a complex, abstract word that doesn't have a clear definition but has different perspective. But he talks about the attitude is a composite of thoughts and feelings and action. But I think that it's the perspective of how you are relating to things, right? So let's look at this attitude thing from a different angle, right? So when somebody has a great attitude about something, what do we see? We see maybe smile, we see happiness, we feel a positivity and expansion, right? You feel the open door instead of closed door. But on the other hand, when you see somebody who has negative attitude, what is that? You feel resistance, you feel a closed-mindedness, you feel a no questioning but closing the sentence. And what I mean by that is that the mind that asks question is an open mind, right? Because you're exploring the possibility. But the moment you start changing the question into a sentence, sometimes you are closing the door. So how can we be constantly curious about is part of the attitude. But here, let's talk a little about to sort of help all of us reflect, right? Now, begin asking these kind of questions. What is the attitude? What is my attitude, your attitude towards overall life? Are you excited about life, or are you gonna feel excited only when you travel or go outside somewhere, right? What is your day-to-day, week-to-week activities, right? And when you look at the upcoming week or upcoming month, what are the things that excite you? What are the things that sort of makes you feel contracted, right? Because the things that makes you feel contracted are the things that we are having a certain perception and perspective about it. So if the experience changes based on the filter that we see through, the attitude is the energy that we give in our perception. How can we see something from a different angle, right? So think of something that you do not enjoy, but you kind of have to do because it's an obligation or because it's a necessity. Now, first of all, have to has this contracted attitude. So how can we change the language to how can I want to do this, right? So language that we use and the self-talk that we speak to ourselves, such as need to, have to, gives us a sense of the perspective that we're choosing to see that certain event. So that's how we can sort of detect the attitude that we're in, right? So what is the attitude that you have about yourself? What is the attitude about yourself? This is an important question because many people, I found this, right, doing coaching as well, many people can talk to or give advice to all the other people. But when it comes to something about themselves, like they have a different idea. Something that you can say to somebody and they can understand because it's a, sort of like a third person thing. But when it comes to our own stuff, people start having a different attitude about it. Why? This is an interesting question, right? So can we respect and honor ourselves as much as we're able to somebody who deeply admire? That is the practice that we want to cultivate. Can we see ourselves with the lens of respect? So anything and everything that we feel like we have to or need to do can shift and change into a different attitude. Yeah. Okay. So I want to take a moment to ask you this question. When you look at the next 3 months, what is the feeling about it? Now, this video is being created around mid-March. So the next 3 months will be April, May, June. And whenever the timing that you're watching, it might be different. So, some people might be having a sort of exciting attitude around going through spring and summer. Weather changes our mental climate and also the energetic emotional state. And whenever you start looking at that and then begin looking at all the events, okay, how can we cultivate an attitude of positivity, expansiveness, and the growth? Because when we begin meeting every single situation with a negative, contracted, disempowering attitude, we get stuck into that, and there won't be any growth until you start shifting your attitude into an expansive state, right? So it's interesting because I do feel that attitude and intention are sort of like a side by side. Both are the energy in which we relate with something, right? Intention is the energy in which you do the thing. In order to set an intention, you need to have a clear direction. In order to have a clear direction, you need to need in a positive way, have a clear destination, right? So direction is the angle that you're heading towards, and intention is the initial push to initiate the journey. Now, the attitude is more of the overall lens of how you see every single circumstance. But can we begin cultivating an expansive, empowering, and positive attitude? And when you have a positive attitude, your thoughts become congruent with that expansion. The feeling tone, excitement, the inspiration becomes congruent with that energy. And we must have a belief that gives you that expansiveness. Let's talk a little bit about belief, because many people seems to struggle with limiting belief, that they cannot believe in themselves enough, right? They can believe in somebody doing the thing, but when it comes to ourselves, we cannot believe something, right? So again, we want to begin practicing respecting and honoring ourselves. Now, how do we do that? Now, but let's flip that question a little bit. Why do we have a different relationship with ourselves when it comes to ourselves compared to others? Because we have a lot of secret. Something that we internally process or not process that happened in the past, present. Yeah. And then we can respect and honor and say anything to others because we have not experienced what they experience. So the way in which we see ourselves has been distorted a little bit because those stories start impacting the way we see ourselves. And if you really want to shift that pattern, I actually have a video called How to See You. How you see you, I think, is the title of the video. So you can come check that out. But I think what we want to do is to begin shifting the way we see ourselves so we can honor and respect, and to be able to form an expansive attitude about ourselves. And when we do that, the seed of the creation is taken care of, and you will forever be grateful in creating a moment-to-moment, exciting and joyful experience. So let me know if you have any question. The question that we're going to propose and have every day connected is what is the attitude that I'm meeting when I am relating with this? What is the attitude of me for overall life? And what is the attitude that I have about myself in conjunction with what I'm currently doing? And see if we can shift little by little to the positive, expansive, and empowering side. Okay, thank you for watching, and comment below if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video.